Well, if you're familiar with the famous corn maze that pops up every year in Traders Village, then you may have noticed the transformation that happens to the maze every single summer.
Yes, and guess what? I had the chance to learn more about the person who's responsible for planting it and the inspiration behind his dedication to creating a field of sunshine every year.
The reason they're not open is because we haven't had a lot of sun.
If you live on the southwest side,
So as soon as they start opening up,
there's an amazing sight
they'll start getting larger and taller.
that seems as though it grew overnight.
Mother Nature's very persnickety.
Yet, it has been months in the making.
Generally speaking, it takes 10 to 12 weeks for the sunflowers to go from seedling to this.
Billeck is the sunflower grower who successfully planted more than 10 acres here at Traders Village.
We were just wrapping up the cornfield that we do in the fall, and I just started thinking, I was like, I wonder if I could do sunflowers. So I spent 2 weeks studying to be a sunflower farmer. We got sunflower seeds and whoop, 10 acres of sunflower field.
Over the last 3 years, he's seen it all.
8 marriage proposals, about 10 or so bachelorette parties, multiple birthday parties of people over the age of 90.
All in the name of creating experiences that maze goers will never forget, in honor of someone he will never forget.
The sunflowers are associated with sarcoma cancers, which is where all the whole thing came from.
On January 31st, 2014, Brian's son Damon was diagnosed with osteosarcoma. His mother initially noticed the large mass in his arm while giving him a hug.
At which point I just dropped to my knees. I didn't know, I mean, how do you deal with that? How do you cope with that? I got to the hospital expecting to see Damon sad or crying or something, and Damon's laughing and cutting jokes.
After undergoing limb-saving surgery on his arm, a year later the cancer returned. With guidance from Damon's primary care doctor, Brian and Damon's mother had to make the difficult decision to have his arm amputated.
Mom starts crying, and Damon looked at me to see what to do, and I said, well, what do you think, Damon? And at 11, Damon just looks at him and goes, I'd rather hug my mom and dad with one arm than have them bury me with two. I mean, what little kid says that?
From morning
If you stand in one spot and take a photo at 8 a.m. in the morning,
to night,
come back in that same spot at 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon,
as he continued his fight, Damon became a beacon of hope.
the sunflowers will have shifted, so they follow the sun.
A hero in his own right, even garnering attention from the big kids who like to play make-believe on the big screen.
Damon would go, Dad, people call me an inspiration. I don't understand what that means. And I would tell him, like, well, people like you aren't supposed to exist. I mean, you smile when you're not supposed to smile. You laugh when you should cry. And that's rare to find anybody that could pull that off. And he goes, well, you do. And I said, I do because you do.
Then came his final diagnosis in 2018.
Well, March 31st, Damon went into the hospital, and then sorry, 3 days later he passed away.
Leaving Brian with his heart in his hands and an opportunity to put the words his son shared with him to use.
Strength isn't measured by how much one can lift. Strength is measured by how much one can lift others. And that's the way Damon lived his life.
Even through his passing, Damon seems to lift the spirits of anyone who chooses to plant their feet on the soil. And each year, no matter how cloudy the sky, Brian continues his tradition without fail, knowing, in time, when he looks up, he'll see the sun too. Something else so special about this maze is you can actually pay to take home sunflowers with you. Oh. So they range between $3, $5, and you can take a couple of them as a memento of your time there. It's open right now, so to see when you can check it out, visit tradersvillage.com. Paul, what did you think?
Oh, what a great story, and I love that definition of strength. Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometimes I don't feel that strong.
No, but you
are. Need to help a lot of others.
Yeah, we lift each other
That's what strength
up.
is all about. Exactly right. No, great job on that too, Clarke.
Thank you.